My name is Claire, and a year ago, I would never have believed I'd be sitting in a cozy Christmas inn, watching the snow fall outside and feeling happy. For years, Christmas had been a painful time for me. After my divorce, the lights, music, and cheer reminded me of everything I had lost. I married young, full of dreams, but life didn't go the way I expected. My husband and I grew apart, and eventually, we divorced. It left me heartbroken. Since then, I kept myself busy with work and tried to avoid thinking about love. I told myself I didn't need it anymore. This year, I planned to spend Christmas alone again, but a snowstorm changed everything. It started as a normal day. I was driving to a cabin I had rented in the mountains, hoping for peace and quiet. But as I drove, the snow began to fall heavily and the roads became icy. The wind howled, and I realized it was too dangerous to continue. That's when I saw the inn. It was small and tucked away, with a wooden sign swinging in the wind that read, Holly Pines Inn. Warm lights glowed in the windows, and smoke rose from the chimney. It looked inviting compared to the storm outside. I hesitated, but I had no choice. Grabbing my bag, I ran inside, shivering as the warmth of the inn surrounded me. The lobby was cozy, with a large Christmas tree covered in twinkling lights and ornaments. A fireplace crackled in the corner, filling the room with warmth. The air smelled of cinnamon and pine. "Welcome to Holly Pines Inn," said Mary, the cheerful innkeeper. "Looks like the storm caught you out there." "Yes," I said, shaking the snow off my coat. "The roads are terrible." "Well, you're in luck. We've got a room available and dinner will be ready soon. Make yourself comfortable." I thanked her and went to my room. It was small but charming, with a soft bed and a window overlooking the snowy forest. I told myself this was just a temporary stop. I'd leave as soon as the storm cleared. That evening, I joined the other guests in the dining area. Sitting by the fire with a mug of hot cocoa, I felt calmer but still lonely. Christmas always reminded me of the happy times I no longer had. "May I sit here?" a voice asked, breaking my thoughts. I looked up and saw a tall man with kind eyes and a warm smile. "Of course," I replied. He sat down and introduced himself. "I'm Jack," he said, extending his hand. "Claire," I replied, shaking it. We started talking, and I found out he was a widower. His wife had passed away 2 years ago, and this was his first Christmas without her. My heart ached for him. "I didn't even put up a tree this year," he admitted. "It didn't feel right without her." I nodded, understanding the feeling. "I've been divorced for 5 years," I said quietly. "Christmas hasn't been the same for me either." Jack gave me a sympathetic smile. "It's hard, isn't it? Moving forward when the past feels so heavy." "Yes," I said softly. The storm didn't let up for a few days, and Jack and I continued to spend time together. We talked by the fire, sharing our stories. Jack told me about his late wife, and I opened up about my failed marriage. It was strange but comforting to talk to someone who truly understood. On Christmas Eve, the inn held a small celebration. There were carols, warm food, and cheerful laughter. Jack and I stood near the Christmas tree, watching the festivities. "Are you glad you stopped here?" he asked. I smiled faintly. "I think so. It's been nice to talk to you." "Same here," he said. "I wasn't expecting to meet someone like you." His words made my heart flutter, a feeling I hadn't experienced in years. The next morning, the storm had cleared, and it was time to leave. As I packed my things, I felt an unexpected sadness. Part of me didn't want to go. Jack was waiting in the lobby when I came downstairs. "Heading out?" he asked, his voice tinged with disappointment. "Yes," I said, trying to ignore the lump in my throat. Well, drive safely, he said. I hesitated, then said, Thank you, Jack, for everything, talking to you. It meant a lot. It meant a lot to me, too, he said with a gentle smile. Maybe we'll see each other again. Maybe, I replied, though I wasn't sure if I believed it. For weeks after leaving the inn, I couldn't stop thinking about Jack. His kindness, his laughter, the way he listened so intently. It all stayed with me. I thought about writing to him, but worried he wouldn't feel the same. Then, one day in January, I received a letter. It was from Jack, written in neat handwriting. Dear Claire, I hope this letter finds you well. Meeting you at the inn was the best thing that happened to me in a long time. You reminded me that even after loss, there is still hope. I'd love to see you again if you feel the same. Warm regards, Jack. I held the letter close, my heart racing. He had been thinking of me too. A month later, I drove back to the town where the inn was located. Jack and I met at a cozy cafe, and seeing him again felt like coming home. We talked for hours, sharing stories and laughter. Jack told me about his new plans to adopt a dog, and I told him about my return to painting, a hobby I'd abandoned long ago. Life feels lighter now, I admitted. Meeting you helped me more than you know. Jack reached across the table, his hand brushing mine. You've brought joy back into my life, Claire. I never thought I'd feel this way again. By the following Christmas, Jack and I had built something beautiful together. We spent the holiday at the same inn where we had first met, surrounded by warmth, laughter, and love. As we stood by the fire on Christmas Eve, Jack looked at me and said, You've given me the best gift of all, Claire. A second chance at love. Tears filled my eyes as I smiled back. And you've given me hope when I thought it was gone. Thank you for being my Christmas miracle.